All right, glad to have you join us on TVC Breakfast. We're heading into the papers now, and let's see what the headlines are in Nigeria on this Monday morning. I have with me in the studio right now Dr. Dayo Kayode. He's a political technocrat, and he'll be joining us to do justice to this. And shortly, we'll have Dr. John join us as well to bring understanding to some of the headlines. Let's go on now with the Vanguard newspaper. That's where we start from. Vanguard says it's risky, illegal to outlaw Shiites. Khan, Shehu Sani Sands are saying that the senior advocate of Nigeria. Now, we're studying court order. No plan to attack Southwest, says the IMN. Federal government acted with impure intentions. That's the Christian Association of Nigeria is saying this. Action against IMN unconstitutional. Senior advocates insist. And IMN whipping up its sentiments. The presidency is saying this. This is a fallout of the recent alleged proscription, not alleged, but proscription of the Shiite IMN movement, which has caused a lot of controversy in the country. From the Vanguard now, let's move to the blueprints. We are on ASU, masses angry over foreign varsity education for the rich, slums elite for being discriminatory, budgetary allocation insufficient. Ghana is saying this. Okay, we'll find that on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper. Let's move now to the Daily Sun. In the move to tackle insecurity, Southwest governors perfect security master plan. Excuse me, and Southeast governors resolve to set up forest guards. You find that on the front page of the Daily Sun. Still on issues of security. Let's move now to News Direct. News Direct is where we go next now. ARIC will become part of national carrier. AMCON is saying this to finalize aero contractors' divestment. Okay, you find that on the front page of the News Direct. Okay, let's go now to the Daily Trust. Daily Trust is where we go next now. Boko Haram kills 65 mourners in Borno State. And locals, it's a reprisal. And Buhari, Zulum, condemn attack. All right. That's really a sad and disturbing situation there. All right. Gentlemen, okay, it's good. Doctor, it's good to have you join us now.
It's a pleasure, man.
I guess the traffic was...
yeah, it's Monday, so...
It's Monday, it's Monday, it's Monday.
Yeah.
And from where you're coming from. Okay. All right, this issue will certainly interest you, gentlemen. The story on the front page of the Vanguard. It's risky, illegal to outlaw Shiites. The Christian Association of Nigeria is saying, lending a voice here. Senator Shehu Sani is lending a voice here, and some senior advocates of Nigeria are lending voices as well to this issue. Now, a lot of reactions have come from people across the country, whether it was a right move to proscribe Shiites and make the IMN movement to make it to recognize it as a terrorist group. Dr. Kaide, I wonder what you think of this.
Yeah, I want to come from the technical aspects of this thing we have been seeing in our country for a while. Rather than seeing it as maybe how to outlaw it is this, is that. No, I want to see it as a kind of injustice.
Injustice to
Yes.
the IMN?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Talk to us.
non-existence of equity here.
How is that?
Good. For instance, how many people have they killed? Is their intention to kill people? Is their intention against the constitutional activities of the country? Rather, it is about freeing their leader, who the court had said, "But look, release this guy." Now, this is now leading to another thing, because this is how we, especially our government, do shoot themselves in the leg. If you are now proscribing them, you are giving them more power. I was looking at a kind of a documentary on these people, and I saw the number of people that belonged to that particular movement. Mark you, Iran, Iraq, they are watching. Before you know it, some of these people will infiltrate the leadership of these people and then turn to something else.
But Iran, if Iran is involved, wouldn't that be interfering in the
What I'm
sovereign
saying
activity
is,
in
I
another
said
country?
before you know it, I'm not saying they are involved. Before you know it, they will just call their leadership. Look here, let us give you a kind of succor. We're going to give you support. Let us deal with them this way. Let us deal with them that way. Because that is how Boko Haram too started.
All right. Okay, Doctor, I wonder what you make of this. Now, there are reports that the IMN does not even recognize the Nigerian government,
Yes.
all the security apparatus and all of that, the allegiances to Iran and so on.
You see, the only thing anybody can fault in this is the attitude of government. We cannot continue to say, oh, we want to justify, we want to continue to compare the activities with the activities of other deadly groups. You will not say because this one has killed 100 and this one has not killed up to that. The problem we have is with the process. The government does not have a new idea to tackle new challenges. But for the fact that no government will watch and watch a citizen make his nation ungovernable. No government. This is not the first time these people have started this thing. They've been doing it over time, even before their leader was arrested. Go to Kano. Go and ask people. These people have been violent over time. The other time they waylaid what's the name of this army general? We cannot continue to run a nation like this.
What led to that, Willie?
What led to that is lack of religious control. It has been resistance.
From reports, he was not waylaid. The point there is that they were carrying out their own religious...
And those guys went to disrupt them.
You don't carry out religious activities blindly. And it is not limited to the Shiite member.
Right.
One of the major problems we have in this country is that over time, we don't have religious control.
All right, we have to leave you here now. They have been advised to go to court to appeal what the Federal High Court...
You don't proscribe them like that.
But let's leave it here. Thank you very much, Dr. John, for coming on the program. Thank you very much, Dr. Kayode, for coming as well. Thank you. Right, well, you're watching TVC Breakfast and we are streaming live on YouTube. You can connect.
Rahim, and yes, in the papers today we're having a mix of stories on this Monday morning. With me in the studio is leadership and communication strategist Dr. Ojon and political technocrat Dr. Dayo Kayode. Good morning to you both,
Good morning. It's good to be here. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you too. Yeah. Right, so we begin with the Vanguard. The big story there reads, it's risky, illegal to outlaw Shiites. That's from Khan Shehu Sani and Senior Advocates of Nigeria. IMN is also reacting, saying we're studying court order, no plan to attack Southwest. Khan says FG acted with impure intentions. The presidency says IMN is only whipping up sentiments, and Senior Advocates of Nigeria have called the proscription against IMN unconstitutional. On News Direct, ARIC will become part of national carrier. That's from AMCON to finalize aero contractors' divestment. And to Blueprint, the big story there is towing the line of education, saying masses angry over foreign varsity education for the rich slams elite for being discriminatory and budgetary allocation insufficient. That's for Blueprint. To Daily Trust now. The massacre of the Boko Haram in Borno State, where 65 mourners were killed. For locals, they call it a reprisal. And we've seen President Buhari and Governor Zulum condemning the attack. We'll get back to that story in a moment, but let's check out The Nation, where the continuation of ministerial screening is the big story. It reads 3 more hurdles set for would-be ministers. Fate of South-South nominee shaky. So the final paper at this time now is Daily Sun in move to tackle insecurity with the rider that Southeast governors resolve to set up forest guards. Southwest governors perfect security master plan. That's the big story on Daily Sun. So gentlemen, Dr. Kayode, let me get your initial remarks now about the Sunday killings in Borno State. Again, a resurgence, a reprisal attack. What's it for you?
Oh, in fact, it's pathetic that till now the government is still not being able to tackle this menace of Boko Haram. There are times that government said, yes, Boko Haram has been defeated technically. Boko Haram has done this and has done that. They have done this, they have done that. Where are we today? Boko Haram is still killing. And government is not looking at it that they are having too much of wars at their hands. That is biting more than they can chew. Now look at Shiites now. They're also proscribing Shiites. When you are coming on with such, it energizes those people and say, look, you can't do that because you refuse to see S-men as terrorists. How can now you be seeing us as terrorists? It gives them more power. Some other people will also go underneath and energize those Shiites. Look, we can fight federal government for you. Mark you again, Boko Haram, too, can collaborate with Shiites and say yes. So government should come up with new frameworks to ensure that they fight this menace totally.
Right.
But it's a pity. I don't know what our service chiefs are doing.
All right. Let me hear from Dr. John. What do you think this is? Boko Haram still having the capacity to spring up surprises?
Yeah. It's a pity that everybody, you know, if as a husband, if you return home every evening and your wife discovers that you just put your money everywhere and anywhere, and if she notices the fact that if she removes 1,000 naira, you don't even notice, maybe you are drunk or as a result of anything, the woman may decide to take advantage of that. And that's exactly what is happening. I think too many people are taking advantage of perhaps the health or the age of Mr. President, and it's becoming glaring. You see, the issue of insecurity is a problem of the government that is affecting the people. It's a problem of the government because insecurity will continue because there are heavy investors. There are people who are gaining from the entire process of insecurity. There are people who want to import some certain things for security operative. There are money-carrying members of the military that are resident in Abuja that are benefiting from the entire process.
400 million in view.
Now, if you now have a leader that is seemingly dragging his feet on some of these issues, then you have people that will continue to take advantage of it.
Irrespective of the investments that
of the investment, because you are not even asking appropriate question. I saw the leadership, and I know that everybody in any organization has the tendency of taking advantage of the leader if the leader is appearing weak.
And what was the offense of, quote and unquote, of the villagers? They had actually been able to recover some of their arms, reports said, and then they went to deposit the arms that they got from the terrorists. They deposited them at the police station, and then it was a morning procession, and then they were attacked.
You see?
I mean, this fact, how does it really strike you?
You see, the thing is, government itself, they are not serious and they don't even know which way to go. Because they are not proactive, they are not thinking. I've said it here over and over. All these people, they are not difficult to handle. Use your Niger Comsat. We pump a lot of money into Niger Comsat. Get used to drones. We'll be able to arrest these people.
No, I saw one flying like bird, you know, the other time. But initially,
whatever it is.
Doctor, let me quickly come in with this. The bigger picture, the bigger damage this has done, especially this particular attack, is that you have not only destroyed the life of people, you have destroyed their trust and the capacity to be able to willingly surrender information. If a group of people, because you can only tackle these people, even in the Southwest, I'm trying to develop a map, a security map, on how to involve the people to gather information. At this point in time, every state should have a state intelligence agency. Their job is just to gather information because your people, my people, do not trust the security forces. So we need a middleman who is going to go out there, gather information from the villagers and surrender to the military authority. But with what has happened now, nobody wants to do that.
And we've also talked about, you know, the federal government. This is the problem for the federal government, but even for the new Borno State government too. What approaches do you think the Governor Zulum can, bring. He's new, he's fresh, so there should be some fresh, vibrant ideas.
They have all those approaches. Like Dotun just said, they have access to all those information.
Because we've spoken so much about
building
trust.
Is there political will in that, in their actions towards curbing this? There's no political will. Because if there is political will, there's no how by now they wouldn't have been able to curb all this. Look at America and Iraq or whatever the other time. When they wanted to capture Osama bin Laden, there was political will. Sir, and what happened at the end of the day?
Let's begin from that political way. You see, if you want to see result in this fight against terror, again, we should not make mistake. Fight against terror is not a fight of deadline. It's not something you are going to win within a short period of time. It's a fight of consistency. If you want to see result now, let there be an agency of government that is serious, that can monitor the process of security funding. Majority of our governors are eating money under security. That's why if you go to, they will continue to come and lie. They will lie to you that, oh, no place is under Boko Haram, this, But ask them whether majority of them can actually leave Maiduguri. Majority of my classmates are working with some of these foreign agencies, so we have information as to how government officials benefit from the entire security process.
All right, gentlemen, Dr. Kayode and Dr. John, thank you so much. Like you both have said, consistency is the name of the game. That's newspaper review. You're watching TVC Breakfast. We're streaming live on YouTube. You can connect with us on Twitter using the hashtags TVC Breakfast.
It's time for the papers now. So let's see what the headlines are in Nigeria. I have with me leadership and communication strategist, Dr. John, as well as political technocrat, Dr. Dayo Kayode. It's nice to have you both, gentlemen.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
Right. Let's begin with the Vanguard newspaper now. Vanguard is where we start from. Vanguard says it's risky, illegal to outlaw Shiites. That's the Christian Association of Nigeria, and Senator Shehu Sani and the senior advocates of Nigeria, some of them are lending voices here. We're studying court order, no plan to attack Southwest, says IMN, and federal government acted with impure intentions. Khan is saying this. Then action against IMN unconstitutional. Sands insists. IMN whipping up sentiments as the presidency is saying this. Right. From there, let's go now to the News Direct. News Direct says Arik will become part of national carrier, as AMCON is saying this. No, to finalize Aero contractors' divestment. You find all that on the front page of the News Direct. From there, let's go to the Blueprint now. ASU is saying that masses angry over foreign university education for the rich. Slams elite for being discriminatory and budgetary allocation insufficient. Ghana is saying this. All right, this is an issue on the front burner of so many Nigerians when it comes to some of the pictures that went viral on social media recently. We'll be talking about this shortly. Let's go now to the Daily Trust. Daily Trust is where we go next now. Boko Haram kills 65 mourners in Borno. Local says it's a reprisal, and Buhari Zulum condemn attack. It's really a disturbing situation there. Right, from there, from the Daily Trust, let's go to The Nation now. 3 more hurdles set for would-be ministers. Fate of South nominee shaky. Okay, 3 more hurdles set for would-be ministers. You get to see details of all of that on the front page of The Nation newspaper. Daily Sun is where we go next now. In move to tackle insecurity, Southwest governors perfect security master plan. Southeast governors resolve to set up forest guard. Okay, you find all that on the front page of the Daily Sun. Gentlemen, I'd like to take your attention to the story or the stories on the blueprint, the front page of the blueprint. ASU is saying masses are angry over foreign university education for the rich and slum elite for being discriminatory. And recently, someone on social media was able to capture the graduation ceremonies and pictures of former ministers, former senators, the president and former president, their children that graduated from universities in the United States, universities in the UK, universities in Germany, and compiled all of them. And it led to a kind of a buzz on social media as to people who are supposed to ensure that the education system back home is strong enough, and then you're a public office holder and you're even though there's no law to the fact that your children have to school in certain schools and all of that. Doctor, let me start with you on this.
Okay, first we must make it very clear that there's nothing that is wrong if you have the means to send your kid abroad to study, if you believe that that's going to give him a better chance in the rest of life. But again, the problem of Nigeria has become so problematic that even people elected to solve it they have lost hope. Because that's an expression of
they have lost hope in the system.
Yes, in the system.
Ones who have the hope.
Yeah, you see, any country in the world, there's what they call this deliberate system of development, whereby they can send their citizens to study abroad, to look at their technology, to look at their way of life, and come back to replicate same in their own country. But what we have now is it's not so. People are only finding a way of escape. I was in Benin Republic the other time. Every university there is like nursery and primary school in Nigeria. But you get there, Nigerians are everywhere just because they want to go to school. And they have lost faith because their leaders have taught them how to lose faith in the system. Their leaders taught them how to lose faith by sending their own kids abroad. So I think for us to deliberately, and I use the word deliberately, for us to deliberately develop our nation, we need to be deliberate in some of the approaches. First is that I was writing something like a blueprint sometimes ago, and I looked at it that there's no how my father, for example, who was a teacher, will give the best of his skill if I am not in his school. Incidentally, I happened to attend my father's primary school where he was headmaster. Okay. So I knew the kind of discipline because I was there in my father's school. Right. So if the commissioner of education has his kid in just Lolua Nursery and Primary School, he will not be concerned about what happens in the public school in Berigbe.
All right. It's that's on one hand. The point there is commendations are still pouring in, Dr. Kayode, for Rwanda, where children are being taken away from private schools. Private schools are closing down because the public schools are better in every way, and all of that. What does Nigeria stand to learn from Rwanda?
When I was growing up, we have the so-called outsiders coming to school in Nigeria. Do you know why? Because the standard of education then was high. But what we have now is a deliberate collapse by our leaders so that you and I will not be able to have proper education for our children and then for their children to continue lording it over our children. And we have told them no. All right? The issue now is this. They are now deliberately trying to collapse the system. Let me give you this instance. You can see some of them now, Let me give you this instance. You can see some of them now establishing schools up to universities here and there. Private. Meanwhile, the public ones, they are deteriorating. UI used to be a signature of the eyes in the past. Go to that place now. Go to the library. You're going to see nothing. Go to Ife. Go to Calabar. Go to Benin. But go to all these private universities. And they now make all those private universities to be so expensive that common
affordability becomes a challenge.
Will not be able to even send their children so that they will get better education because they know plainly that education is a weapon that can be used to contest this their hegemony.
Dr. Kari, even when the private university is not that expensive. You see the concept of prosperity that I've been trying to propound this. It's not when the poor man can afford to send their kids to private university. The concept of societal prosperity is when the rich man can send his kid to public university. That's where we have equity and justice. So even when the private universities are accessible by the poor, we should not go and be dancing that we are prosperous. It is until our president, our minister, can beat their chest and send their kids to public university and public school. That's when we become
some semblance of simplicity and humility.
Yes, and to that
extent. We have to leave you here now. I'm sorry, Dr. Dayo Kayode, thank you so much for coming on the program. Dr. John, thank you very much. Thank you. Right. You're watching TVC Breakfast and we're streaming live on YouTube. You can also connect with us on Twitter using the hashtag TVC Breakfast. Still ahead on the show,